and you will pay. Oh, baby, you find out. Good morning, good morning, good morning. So this is Silver Cord here. Just popping in. I know I'm a little bit later than I usually am, but it's Friday, and I tell you guys all the time that Thursdays are my Fridays. Good morning, good morning. Sorry, I'm a little late this morning, y'all. Keep saying that Friday or Thursdays are my Fridays because we don't have work or school on Fridays here. Good morning, Miss Cat. Good morning, Magical. I was just talking about I don't know. I saw this thing yesterday online about a wizard is never late or early. They arrive exactly when they intend to, right? Pull out my Lord of the Rings dork on y'all. But no, it was somebody was talking about sage. And they were like, "Oh, unless you got to be careful what sage you get. It needs to be dropping cards." Ooh, interesting one for today. Snow White offered the poison apple. Kind of what I'm getting at, I guess. They were talking about sage, and they were like, if you don't make sure that you get perfect ethically, whatever sage from what this spot or that spot, and it wasn't harvested a very certain way, and blah 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 blah, then it's no good. And I'm like, it's just that's con artist shit, guys. That's con artist stuff. Now the sage I get now, granted, yeah, there is some. If you're going to get sage, it should be from a Native American community. Ours, the Zen Den is ordered all the way from Arizona. You know, should be, I believe it's the Navajo reservation that they get theirs that does sage. So most of the sage comes from small farms and stuff anyway. It's I don't know. Now I understand the Palo Santo. Palo Santo is actually becoming an endangered tree at this point, and yeah, so if you're gonna buy it, you should try to buy. It has nothing to do with anything other than you want it ethically harvested. Because there are some places in the world, and especially areas where they're extremely poor, if the Palo Santo tree grows naturally in their area, these people will cut down those trees. They're not doing it to be malicious. They're doing it to feed their families, and people pump it. But I've noticed that a lot about the spiritual community. It's almost like, yeah, it's like don't let your purpose turn you into a con artist. And I have that big problem too because learning to try to grow sage, dude. It's one of the few plants that I'm having a problem in my garden. My oregano, beautiful. Rosemary, beautiful. Parsley, I can grow all of them herbs, but just the cooking sage, it's a very slow grower. I'm not sure where you're at, Kat, because the white sage, the sage from bundles like this, you need an arid community. You need an arid area in order to grow it. That's why we have to get it from like Arizona or the Midwest. It's too wet here. The leaves get powdery mildew and fungus and whatnot. But yeah, I noticed that a lot with a lot of people on my page and stuff like that, like the people who sell spells, spell jars, and things like that. And I understand it's a way to make money, but at the same time, people who are selling things like to kill a bitch spells, they are so far off their spiritual path that it blows my mind. And it's like you literally like you embrace magic as a way as your purpose, right? And then you turn it into a way to make a living, and then you can corrupt it, you know. Because I did readings for, like 15 years, and I was doing I say that because I feel weird doing the twin flame readings sometimes. Because sometimes I feel like that's feeding into a reality to people that is toxic for them, for some of them. The people who really can't let go, the people who really can't see through it, you know. That must be nice. I bet it's beautiful. It's considered a flyover state, right? It can't be landlocked. It's a thing. Like, I love going to the mountains, but I don't go past the Blue Ridge. For some reason, I can't. Landlocked. Well, it's like, if you're really serious and you really feel like you're cursed, then you really need to go find somebody within your, 3D reality, or someone that you trust. I mean, the people I work with in the Covenant Silver Court, they've known me for years now. You know what I'm saying? We've been through some shit over the years as a coven. I'm telling you, of everything that I'm able to just walk away from and let go and everything else like that, I have been solid on my full moon spells with that coven for 3 years now. It's not longer. I'm pretty sure. I don't know. I have to check the dates. I told you guys, I'm stuck at time. I try not to. The only time I pay attention to time is when I've got a solid set appointment, and then it's a thing at that point. What? I'm supposed to be somewhere at 11. I'm supposed to be there at 11. But what's a saying that I heard the other day, especially with these Mercury retrogrades, because I thought about that when I brought it up the other night. The being late thing, if you're already running late, you might as well take your time, because you can't be late twice. I was like, that is a good saying. For people who are rushing around here during these crazy retrogrades, people drive nuts. The first week of Mercury retrograde, when it stations, people go nuts around here. You can't drive. Right? That's a cute saying. If you're already late, you might as well take your time. You can't be late twice. So anytime you guys find yourself running late today or whatever, one, remember, goodness, it's Freya's day. And two, you can't be late twice, so you might as well not stress being late at all. And honestly, the more you stress, the more you're going to cause those lights to turn red and people to cut you off, and the universe will feed you. Oh, wow, she's really responding to this. More. Oh, yeah. I'll say there was this one time, and I was in Virginia, and I was in a double lane, left turning lane. And we were all just sitting there, and the light turned green. We were sitting there for like a solid minute. And I was like, the light's going to change again. And I hit the horn. The guy in front of me was pulling a trailer. And I hit the horn, and he went. And as soon as he went to go, another car ran the red light and slammed into him. And I felt absolutely terrible. I'm like, if I would have just let us sit there and let us miss the light, nobody would have gotten into an accident. But because I beat my horn, acknowledged him, and rushed him to go, we got into an accident. The car in the other lane managed to turn right before the car came in. It was a mess. But yeah, I've always thought that after that. I was like, dude, if I hadn't have touched that horn, would they have gotten in the accident? But I was running late, so I didn't even stick around to leave a report with the police. Oh, man, the universe is a mess. But yeah, I think that all the time, too, about how, okay, so the universe took my car out for the last week or so, but with all the craziness that's been going on, I mean, it's been nonstop. I live right next to the highway, and the highway's been shut down like 3 times over the last week for one thing or another. You can always tell because suddenly my town is full, like bursting at the seam, full of cars and 18-wheelers. Oh, something happened on the highway. And they've been tearing up my road, fixing something to do with the city's drainage pipe, so my road keeps being blocked off every time I go. Which I find it funny that I was having problems with my drainage system, and they were like, "Oh, it's not our fault. Da 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 da. Must be something of yours." And I'm like, "Really?" Because as soon as I made that complaint, you guys have been tearing up my street since. Mm. Got a 1-8 again on their plate. I don't know what that means. But yeah. Let Divine Time and play, and don't stress yourselves out today. And it's Friday. I can't wait. I can't wait. Car's finally fixed. Fingers crossed it stays that way, and we can actually go and do something this weekend. Plus, my baby daddy finally called and said he's going to take a weekend with the kids. So I got free babysitter for the weekend. Woo! Oh, I get it. Late again. Very funny. I find Libras to be the latest people. Whenever I'm dealing with a Libra and we have like a holiday event or anything else like that going on, what I do is I tell them to be there an hour earlier than everything's actually starting. Because then just maybe, they may show up on time. The little chit chats with Rob last night. We'll see how they came out today. Ended up deleting a bunch too. He thought it was pretty funny. He was just like, I can see why, even though we have what we're calling the fire pit now, because I got my desk over here and we got Rob's desk right there. We're calling the back of the corner now. We're calling this the fire pit or the fireplace. And he's like, I can see why, even though you have your own little nook, why you can't read at home. And I was like, I told you, I can't be one of those readers that'll be halfway through a reading. And, like I'm seriously working with somebody or channeling with somebody, or even when I'm doing the sign, if I'm halfway through the reading and somebody interrupts me, I mean, like, I don't know, because I see them been doing it online all the time too. You'll see it. They'll be like, something will happen, and they're like, hold on, boop, boop, I'm back, and they jump right back into it. And kudos to them for being able to do that, but I kind of find it a little disrespectful. Like, if I'm going to sit down and do a reading for, whatever, Libra or Scorpio, I'm going to sit down and do the full reading for them. I'm not going to break it up into chunks and be distracted and come back and forth and lose my train of thought. I'm like, one, that's disrespectful as hell to your guides. What? You can come and go as you please. Like, granted, they're always there, but still, I don't know. That's just my own personal feelings. That's how my own shit works, I guess. I got a big thing about manners, man. It's very weird. Like, for as much as I got a potty mouth and as much as I don't care about clothes and things like that, and basic manners matter a lot to me. You don't be disrespectful for no reason. You never talk about the person who's cooking's food. That's just basic rules. That's just politeness. Yeah, little things like that. Don't talk about politics or religion in mixed company. And now I'm a witch, so I'm used to having to hold my tongue about my religious beliefs. But, you got to be able to shift those conversations. Yeah, I think basic manners have really been lost over the last few years. I think that's a big problem that we have. It has nothing to do with the clothes, it has nothing to do with the language and linguistics of it all. It all has to do with basic manners. Basic manners are, you know what topics are hot button topics. You don't bring them up. I have friends in retail that talk about how people come into their stores and be cashing out, and they bring up politics with them while they're cashing out of the grocery store. And it's like, enough is enough, guys. Like, seriously. There's a reason that the ballots are secret ballots. It's because it was considered you weren't supposed to tell people what you were voting for. No one was supposed to tell you. Nobody was supposed to know who was winning in the polls or anything else like that until they won. New age politics is a dangerous, dangerous game. This is not what it was supposed to be at all. Quite honestly, I think the politicians and I think the politicians like the Senate and the representatives in the Electoral College and stuff like that. I believe that if they still, I feel bad for those people, because could you imagine your vote? Not only does your vote count, but you're being watched and harassed and pressured by your side. You're not allowed to vote for who you want to vote for. You have to vote for who your side tells you to vote for. Whereas if it was genuine secret ballots, that's how sudden changes happen. But all right, that's either here nor there. That's like asking for term limits on the Senate. It's just, it'll never happen. So, not in our lifetime. Let's get to the cards, right? What do we got today? We got the Four of Wands. Look at this. Isn't she pretty? Now, the Four of Wands is usually building the stability, the home life, the 1111 home marriage card. But this is her on her own in this deck. And she's just kind of coming out of the light, coming out into the steps and stepping outside into, I believe, people stepping out into their own truths right now in the 3D, not hiding so much. At the same time, it's the Eight of Balconies. So it's like, okay, the Eight of Swords, but it's the balcony card in this one. So it's like, I'm outside. And I got the higher perspective, but, and I know I look like I'm stuck and I'm blinding myself to stuff, but I do see what's going on for what's going on. I am outside. I am observing what's going on. I am standing in my truth, but I'm standing in my space where I can be true, but be safe as well. Excuse me. Queen of Cups. That loving, down to earth, nurturing, motherly, loving energy, and nurturing ourselves and nurturing those around us. That's what a lot of people come to these paths for. What we want to not just take care of ourselves, we want to take care of others. The healing paths is where you're learning herbs and things of that nature. It's all about transformation and healing, and we're trying to help not only ourselves, but everybody around us. And it is happening. It is happening. Queen of Pentacles too. So the divine feminine energies are balancing out. I'm going to mix them up again too, yeah. Queen of Cups is more of the emotional. This is the down-to-earth, motherly. Whereas the Queen of Cups is more compassionate. I guess that's nurturing too, when you can be compassionate. So the divine feminine energy, I find, is very balancing out right now, and there's a lot of transformation coming out on that end on the 3D levels. I think a lot of us had over the last few weeks not only learned to be loving and nurturing with those around us, but loving and nurturing with ourselves. That's why we started the yoga challenges and things like that, right? That was all about honoring our bodies and honoring where our bodies are at right now. And that's been a big topic that keeps coming up with me with just messages and everything else that come in. It's just a lot of, I'm probably going to repeat myself a couple times because we did some recordings last night I wanted to play this weekend, but it's real easy for some people who are already beautiful people. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I'm big and beautiful. Well, yeah, it's nice to be big and beautiful with the perfect hourglass figure, but some people are built like an apple. You know what I'm saying? And that's their natural size, shape, and form. Some people are dwarves. Some people, have burned their faces off. Some people have, whatever. It's not easy for everybody. It's not easy for everybody, and not everything is something that can actually be changed or edited about yourself. You just have to live with it. People who are born without an arm have to learn to function without an arm. So it gets hard when you see people constantly just going, oh, just love yourself. And you're just like, well, that's real easy for you to say. It is a genuine thing that you do have to love yourself, and to the point where you don't care what you look like. And that's kind of where my thing is with clothes comes in. I don't care about my clothes that much. I walk around town in my jammies. I don't give a flying hoot. Honor yourself, honor your body shape. Don't try to dress for another body shape. Don't be pressured into wearing anything uncomfortable that you don't want to wear or anything else like that. Honor yourself. Honor what makes you feel good. It's not just about what's visually appealing to other people. What makes you feel good? What's comfortable to you? All right? That's what you should be worrying on 3D. 5D, I bet that dog just jumped the damn fence. I don't care. 5D or 4D, I do have a defeat. But if you even notice in this card, who's defeated and who's standing. So not all defeats are defeats. So yeah, maybe. See what I'm saying, man? I'm only 30 minutes later than I usually am, and this is how it goes. Somebody's coming in and out. I can't hear dogs barking. This is the defeat. But defeats are not failures, right? They're learning experiences. Even if a relationship or something falls apart, you're like, yeah, you feel defeated. What you feel like you lost, and it didn't work out the way you wanted it to, and whatever. But it's not really a defeat, because it's better that whatever that was ended when it did, instead of dragging it out, because then it would have been a bigger defeat later, right? So I find this as really accepting a defeat more than anything else. She's grabbing up her sword. She's like, all right, the battle's done. I'm moving on now. He can lay there very much looking like he is in the 9 of Swords, right? 9 or 10 of Swords there with the swords stabbed all around him, but none of them are actually stabbing him. It's like, all right, I'm taking my swords and I'm going back to the drama queen from yesterday. And then we got the Queen of Wands here. Ooh, to my fire signs. Aries, Leo, Sag. Ladies, this is your card. The Queen of Wands, right? She knows where her passions lie. She knows what she wants out of this life, and she's going to light this world on fire until she gets it. Princess of Swords. We going to be feisty about it, too, at this point. Got the little butterfly transformation in there, too. Well, so we're going to put our fire... excuse me, and our thoughts and our words into action right now. And we may seem a little bit childish and immature with our imagination when it comes to magic and things of that nature, and wanting to dress. And I don't know about you, but I'm thinking of doing a ritual. I found my amethyst headset, headdress. I'm going to wear that. I'm going to rock my stuff, man. I don't care if people think I'm silly or not. You know what? It's cool to go ahead and embrace your princess energies if you want to. 4 of Cups. Now, this card says a luxury card. A lot of decks, it's the overindulgence card. Be mindful of overindulging this weekend. Don't make yourself sick. There is a ton of solar flares going on, all right? I don't care what level you think you're on. There is a ton of solar flares going on right now. And, yeah, you tend to be more susceptible during certain flares and certain, between all the pressure of the planets and the solar flares and all that. Be very mindful, especially with alcohol, that you could tend to be more susceptible to it now. Like, even if you think you got a big tolerance, you can end up you're at more risk of having a blackout session. All right. Peek at them. We just hit a new cycle. with the sun. So definitely peek at that pay care. Focus on your works, right? As always, tap into that creative energy in nature and that 4D creative energy to continue working on things of a creative nature. All right. And that's what I was saying. The problem will come in is if you want to make money, you're like, my purpose, I love to paint. Well, just because you love to paint doesn't necessarily mean it's your purpose in the sense of you're supposed to become ridiculously wealthy off of selling paintings, right? Luna loves to paint, but she uses kitty art stuff and stuff like that. Now, if she had started painting with the objective of wanting to sell her paintings, she wouldn't be able to paint. She would criticize herself too much. She wouldn't enjoy it. They wouldn't come out as beautiful as they do because she would be so stressed on perfection. So just be mindful of that. Create yourself some stuff that you like for you. Or, holidays are coming up. If you're like anything like us, it's the time of year where we start getting ready to what are we going to make everybody this year for the holidays. Last year I did etch cups and soaps. The years before, we usually do scarves and hats for all the kids that we home crochet. We've made stuffed animals. Like, we usually make something to give everybody every year, and that's what we do, and that's our little way of, not bleeding ourselves dry for the holidays. And I think that would be a good tip if you guys are going to look into doing that this year with all the craziness going on with COVID and whatnot, and everybody being locked down, the economy kind of being a shit show. Not a bad idea to look into things that you can do for a homemade gift. Hey, Billy.
Yeah.
Is Draco still in the backyard?
Yeah.
Okay. Just making sure he didn't jump the fence. All right.
It was outside.
I know. I'm recording right now. But that's why I was asking you. Love you. Yep. So, huh?
We're not going to let the dogs in.
You can let them in if you want to. Oh my God, he's 12. You hear how deep his voice is? It drives me crazy. Speaking of being distracted while reading and losing your train of thought, but at least I finish each row before I get distracted. All right, so for the 5D sense that's going on right now is the Empress, right? What your 5D self really wants to just nurture its divine connections, those connections that make you feel the connections that make you feel loved, those that you can nurture, those that grow, those that you can watch evolving. You know what I'm saying? Because this is all about the motherly energy and what the mother gives birth. She nurtures throughout its life. She does it. Yeah. Isn't it funny how we pull out the most motherly card in the deck right when we started talking about that too, right? But like you said, you're going to be working on creating things or, with the kids or for the kids and things of that nature. That's what we should be focusing on right now. That's going to help you move past a lot of these toxic energies that are going on at the moment. The High Priest still reversed. He's still in the he's the top arc of the spread, and he's still reversed. All right. I don't know what's going on with the masculines. I know it's a big ego thing, and I know they put on a very big show right now, and I don't know what's going on, but that energy I keep pulling up mostly feminine, and I keep pulling up him just slightly reversed still. And it's the balancing out. What? It's this need it's the ego response of, I have to be doing better than somebody else in order to feel like I'm accomplishing anything. If I'm not in a competition and actively beating someone and seeing that they're doing badly, then I don't feel like I'm accomplishing anything. And that's it's a toxic set to be in. That's something that we need to break. And I've been saying this for decades. I was like, I don't understand why other people have to be doing bad in order for one company to feel good. I don't understand how it's not enough that you're making a profit. These corporations, it's not enough that they're making a profit. They have to make they have to make more of a profit than they did last month because this company, they got an increase in growth. So we should have got an increase in, it's not just enough to be making profit. It has to be, how can we make more profit? You know, even in the case of like Walmart, they don't need to be closed at night. They're just doing it to save money on cashiers and shit like that, y'all. It's a trip. It's a trip. All right. So don't focus so much on this. Let them do what they're going to do. We're working on moving past that energy. We are nurturing what we're supposed to be here. And I do see celebrations coming up. 3 of Cups. Now, most decks, this is 3 females, but, you know, 3 of Cauldrons. We are all working towards moving towards where we can have these get-togethers again and get back to having barbecues and having fun. And I know it's fire season and Halloween. We are going to get there, guys. That has always been the plan. High Priestess. Right? So just another, like, is it the 5D? It's all about this right now. You know, you get mad all you want. It just is what it is. You know, this is mastering your intuition. This is listening to, because divine feminine energy is the intuition. All right. All right. Masculines are about ego and, you know, the hunt and providing and things of that nature. But the feminine is all about that inner nurturing, that inner intuition, that inner healing. That's what we do. That's what we came to do. So just keep working on that within yourself, even if you're in like a twin flame connection. And I've said this to a lot of people, and especially when they come to me, like I said, you know, I played that meme the other day with Rosanna Dana going, gee, he sounds like a real swell guy. If you're in one of these connections, whether it's twin flame or just a soul connection, and you just can't seem to get this person off your mind, and you're like, man, I'm pretty sure they're thinking about me, and I can't stop. Maybe it's just me, and I can't stop thinking about them, and blah 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 blah. And they're just constantly running around in your head, and it could be, you know, a lover or a family member or whatever. Stop focusing on the toxic aspects of it, right? Just send them love, man. Just whatever you're doing, wherever you are, I hope that you are loved, and I hope that you are having fun. Right? Especially in the twin flame community. No matter who you think your twin is, if you're mirroring them and you can't get them off your mind, and you guys are sharing a timeline, why wouldn't you wish them well if they're mirroring you? Right? If you're focusing on the negative aspects of their life, not only are you amplifying it in their life, you're amplifying it in your own life. Wish them well, wish them happiness, wish them love. And then that way, when they start mirroring all this lovey-dovey energy that they got, you get to mirror it back. Look, oh, I'm so happy that you're happy and you're loved. Look, I am happy and loved too. This is not a competition, right? I mean, if you came here with that package, which not everybody does. No, you do, but you don't. Everybody has the potential to reach the twin flame energy if they want to. But not everybody came to play that dramatic of a game. But if you did, that's the lesson that you've meant to learn. Love. All you need is love. Ba, 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 da, da. But yeah, like I said, this is generations of ancestral karma that we are working through, guys. And they are hardcore with us right now. 'Tis the year. Samhain is coming. I mean, that is what the whole kit and caboodle of October is about, right? Generations of cycles. And it's hard. It's especially hard for parents because you're watching your kids do what you did with the new programming, and your old programming is rebelling hard against what your kids are doing now. And you've got to understand that you don't want to be like your parents and be like, oh, you just don't get it, Ma. You know, we don't want to do that either. So this is about learning new ways of breaking these cycles, man. I mean, we're big communicators in this house, and I feel bad though at some points because like my son goes to the places and he's like, "World don't make sense when you're not around," because not a lot of people talk to their kids and allow their kids to talk and have opinions. We have to learn how to break this toxic patterning of just rebelling against your parents to rebel. But some of you guys did not come here. You're a little bit further along on the timeline already than I am. It is a new beginning coming, guys. We are breaching the surface on major energies. I don't know about y'all, but when I was going through my big awakening and my dark night of the soul and all that, every morning I woke up and I would just be like, it wasn't that I gasped for air, but I would get the sensation actually of coming up out of water right before I woke up. Like I was underwater and I was fine, I could breathe, but I would come up and just be like, and then just be out of the water, and then I would be awake in the 3D walking around. It's some trippy energies we're going through. They're going to be intense. Dreams are going to be intense around this time. Embrace them. It's a new beginning. Your mind is trying to reprogram itself, rewire itself, find new perspectives, and breach the surface of acceptance in certain areas, and just the new energies that we're coming into and embracing them. Contradictory to that, which I usually do these first, but we got blinded to the pain. Don't be blinded to the pain. We're not, love is not showing that how much you could suffer for another person. That is not what it is at all. We did not come here to, that isn't it. No, that's not how you, even to your own kids, how much you can suffer for them. That's not love. That's not love. All right. That's something in your own psyche. That's a people-pleasing thing in your own psyche, and that's a toxic programming that you have. Why are you going to put yourself at detriment and destroy your whole life? You know, you got grown kids. What? And I've said this a bunch of times. Like, it's not just your fault. You can't get mad at the world for getting their hands on your kids. They got their hands on you too, and you did the work to work through it. And think about how much had to happen to you before you finally shifted, and how much chaos and lunacy that, we caused in our childhoods and we caused in our 20s before we had our awakenings and everything else like that. You can't rush the process, y'all. Everybody came with their own path, even your own kids. And before you beat yourself up too much, remember always, they chose you. They chose you. They were well aware of the path of the programming that they were going to get from you, and they still picked you to come here. So for whatever lessons that they've come to learn themselves, they also came to learn to teach you some things too. Have no doubt your kids have contracts with you as well, and they are here to teach you too. That's it. All right. And this is fated to suffer. No, you are not cursed. No, you are not born to suffer. That is a big thing going on. That's what I was talking about too with the con artist things, like the poison apple and everything else. The bad guy in this story is the mirror. Think about it. The only thing that drove the queen insane was the reflection in the mirror telling her that Snow White was more beautiful than she was. Just going to float that out there. And the mirror was of what gender? It wasn't her reflection that was telling her that. Be mindful of the mirror. Make sure when you're looking in the mirror and you're talking to yourself that it is you answering yourself and not that toxic little shadow in the back of your brain, that programming, that disgusting, perverted male. If you're not perfect, if you don't have perky boobs, if you don't have your makeup on, if you're not dressed like a skank, you're not cute. That is not what this is all about at all, y'all. We're not fated to suffer because women eventually grow older, man, and we get wrinkles and everything else like that, and dudes are allowed to do that, but we're not. No, you're not fated to suffer. And you're not cursed. Your dumb decisions when you were a maiden have not cursed you for your life either. All right. Yes, you do have to pay your karmic debts, but you are not fated to suffer forever. Pay your debts. Pay your debts. What? It's like, the IRS is coming for you for your debts. And what are you going to do? You're going to run your whole life from the IRS and live on the run, be stressed out and anxiety and blah, 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 blah. Or are you going to call them, set up a payment plan, and pay your fucking debts? Unless you want to be a crusader and take it to the Supreme Court, that taxes are technically unconstitutional, especially the income tax, but still. That would be paying your debt still. Either paying them or resolve them, but you're going to have to do some work towards it in one way, shape, or form. All right? And that's what we're here to do, is to clear the debts, because we are dragonflies, right? You bring light to this world. The tree of life. True wisdom and making good choices in life. Do what brings you peace, do what brings you joy. Always, I talk about, take time in nature out for yourself. You are just as important, and you need to always make sure that you're giving yourself the same amount of love and compassion that you give everybody else in this world. All right. You are not fated to suffer. Do not blind yourself from pain. If people are constantly hurting you, you need to acknowledge why you allow that to continue and how you can get it to stop. Those type of things are always a cycle. Once you recognize the cycle, recognize the pattern, then you can choose to respond differently at that point and start breaking the patterns. I know it's scary because you don't know what's going to happen when you do break those patterns, but that is the point of it all. And that is how you pay your debts and how you clear your karma. All right. I love you guys so much. I'm going to try and catch you in the morning. If not, there'll be some sipping and trippings this weekend, or maybe something with the fishing. I don't know. I have a kid-free weekend. Anything can happen. I love y'all. Blessed be all those who walk those weird and windy paths with me. I love you guys. And I'll see you as soon as I can.